most people, when they turn between 20 and 25 years old, their brain stops growing, okay? Your brain stops evolving as it was when you were a child. You have a 4-year-old. You see like all of the connections happening on a daily basis. He's learning how to walk. He's learning how to play soccer. He's learning how to speak, right? There's these constant neural connections that are being created. And it's this process of just like stepping into more potential every single day. But as we get older, our brains become more plastic. Our brains become more stagnant. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure. When you add mobility into the yoga poses, you're actually impacting your brain deeper, and it's an opportunity for neuroplasticity, longevity, for creating new channels, new pathways to creating life.
Move the energy with Jitivoz.
Hello, welcome back. My name is Jihan, and this is Jitivoz. This is Move the Energy with Jitivoz. And today I would like to present you a powerful and inspiring individual that I have the privilege to have here today for a meaningful conversation. He is a master. He would like to say a mentor, but he's a master in psilocybin or in a microdosing. It's a transformational coach, and he's the one and only Jeremy Seth. He is here.
What is up? Thank you so much for having me. Really excited to connect and just learn more about your journey and also share some of mine with you and your audience.
Awesome. Well, I believe that this conversation will always be around you and what you can bring us to the table more than my journey itself. Maybe that we can leave that for another experience or opportunity. He also have an amazing podcast, and I would be pleased and welcome to be there.
We'll definitely get you on there.
So there you can get along with my journey as well. But now, as I already said, if you got here, that's not coincidental. I believe that you're here for a reason, and we are all here for a reason. As I was saying, or as I always said in other episodes, the idea of this podcast is to all together continue growing, continue peeling the layers, continue awakening, continue becoming your best version. However you want to say it, you name it however you want to name it. You do, or you take the path that it fits better with your frequency or your ideas and your mind. But if we can have a tool outside of our own power, which is, by the way, already more than enough, but if we want to have, or we need a tool in those moments that we feel that we're lost, that we are depressed, that we are anxious, that we have the master here. We have the master for that, and I feel completely and profoundly proud of the work that he's doing with awakening people, with opening the spectrum of opportunities for people, and unapologetically sharing his truth no matter what, because, and it is a topic that I would like to cover, and it's about how you handle sharing something that it's illegal, and like from where you take all that bravery and so bold, sharing his truth, and then, I don't know, whoever that is watching this and whoever that takes to this, you know what I'm saying. So he's protected, and he will continue sharing his journey no matter what. But just I want to know how you started and why psilocybin and why sharing it so passionately. For
sure, yeah. Thank you for the question. So for those who don't know, psilocybin is the chemical compound found in magic mushrooms.
Okay.
That's impacting the serotonin 5H2A receptor of the brain. So I think we have like 17 different serotonin receptors. And if you take antidepressants, for example, SSRIs, the whole intention of those is to increase the level of serotonin production in the brain. But the thing about it is those medications are impacting all of the different serotonin receptors. But the cool thing about the serotonin 5-H2A receptor is that it's directly responsible for impacting your mood and mental health. So mushrooms and psilocybin were literally put here by God to help us heal our brains, awaken our souls, and live the most fulfilling life possible. They're literally nature's medicine. And for me, and just to actually finish that, because I know there might be people watching and listening who are taking antidepressants, and it's really sad to see this, because antidepressants are supposed to impact the level of serotonin production in our brain. So apparently they're supposed to make us more happy, right? Serotonin is our happy hormone. But the thing about it is that these same antidepressants are negatively impacting our gut microbiome. And our gut is where we produce 90% of our serotonin. So the same drugs that are supposed to help us increase serotonin production are actually destroying the part of the body responsible for producing serotonin. So this whole Western medicine pharmaceutical company model is broken. Like it's doing nothing to actually help people heal. So the reason I'm so passionate about this, there's many different layers, but my dad was actually a brain doctor. He was a neurologist. So I saw my dad save a lot of lives and change a lot of people's lives in a positive way. And I also saw my dad be put in a system that tells doctors to just put Band-Aids over bullet wounds rather than actually treating the root cause. Because if you're struggling with depression, it could be many different reasons why. It could be your nutrition, it could be a lack of sunlight, it could be a lack of purpose. Maybe you have childhood trauma that you've never healed from. So there's so many different factors. But if I'm gonna just prescribe every single person with depression the same remedy, the same medicine, that's so irresponsible, because I'm actually not allowing myself to find out the root cause for this individual person. Like, what is going on in your life that has you feeling this way? So that's why I approach health and healing the way that I do. I want to get to know you better. Hey, tell me about your family. Tell me about your relationships. How's work going? You know, how is your nutrition? Are you getting outside? Are you connecting to nature? These are questions that we need to ask. They're fundamental for our health. Yet we live in a system that completely neglects them.
And sorry to interrupt you, because you're with the flow with all that you're saying, and it's completely true. I agree completely. Does your father knew, like what you said, that you grew up looking at him, putting a Band-Aid on and not treating the root cause? Does he knew that? Do you knew that? It was a topic that was talked at home, like it was your dad trapped on that, you know, on that matrix, or he knew and he wanted to create a change, and, you know, it's something that runs in the family, or it is you that is, you know, broken that pattern there?
Yeah.
Like,
So my dad is like my biggest role model and inspiration. He's an absolutely incredible man. Was an amazing doctor. He practiced medicine for over 40 years.
Amazing.
And he's so busy seeing 40 patients a day. Like, he's working 14-hour days. He doesn't necessarily have time to like do his own research and find out about the importance of nutrition or find out the importance of sunlight or these different supplements. So he was doing the best he could with the tools he had, right? And I think most doctors are doing the same thing. Most doctors pursue medicine because they actually want to help people, but they're put in a system that's broken. They're put in a system that incentivizes
with a ceiling.
Exactly.
And they yeah. I mean, if they dare to, you know, to move beyond that, okay, that's amazing. But
I just remember, like, I remember sometimes visiting my dad at work, and I guess I remember just seeing a long line of people that looked unhealthy and overweight, waiting to pick up their next refill of their prescription drug. And I just, like, intuitively as a young kid, I was like, there's something about this that just doesn't feel right. you know? And I am very grateful that I've pursued the path that I have. I was always really passionate about fitness. And then, I was a personal trainer when I was like 25, 26. And then I got more interested in nutrition and biohacking and these different tools. And then July 2018, I went to Peru and I sat with ayahuasca for the first time. And that was really the experience that awakened me like fully and showed me what was possible for myself and showed me what was possible for the collective consciousness. And it really opened my eyes to, okay, what else is out there? If this is one powerful modality from the Amazon, what about mushrooms? What about these other potential plants and teachers that we can lean into for our own healing and elevation of consciousness, and from that point forward, I was like a sponge. I was just like studying these different things. And when I landed on mushrooms, it just clicked right away because I've always had a fascination with the brain. And when we talk about mushrooms, what's really cool is this idea of neuroplasticity, right? So people might have heard that term before, but most people, when they turn between 20 and 25 years old, their brain stops growing, okay? Your brain stops evolving as it was when you were a child. You have a 4-year-old. You see like all of the connections happening on a daily basis. He's learning how to walk. He's learning how to play soccer. He's learning how to speak, right? There's these constant neural connections that are being created. And it's this process of just like stepping into more potential every single day. But as we get older, our brains become more plastic. Our brains become more stagnant. Does that make sense?
Yeah, sure.
So neuroplasticity is this idea of just creating new neural connections in the brain, new thought patterns, new belief systems, forming new habits and behaviors, and also letting go of the destructive patterns and habits that no longer serve us. And sometimes we need a little assistance. Yoga, meditation, breath work, all of these are incredible tools. And none of those are creating neuroplasticity like mushrooms do.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, I understand that when you're trapped on, so-called matrix, or when you're trapped on your insecurities, or when you're trapped on your paradigms, or when you're trapped on past experiences, you start covering yourself so many layers and so many layers, and you become so stiff, you become mad, you become resentful, you become anger, you become all of that. And if you're trapped with those lower vibrational emotions, it may be so hard by yourself if you're not changing your words, if you're not changing something. You need help. You need external help to really help you go out from that. But on the other hand, there's also, as you were saying, that because nowadays there's studies that affirm that meditation, that breath work, and that yoga, they also create new neurological pathways. And if you are aware of that, even washing the dishes, you can be creating new neurological pathways. If you are focusing your attention really onto something, but you're going to be aware of that, and you need something that helps you awaken. And, as we say, it's not like you're going to wake one day. It's not like you're going to have one psilocybin experience and you're awake.
Right.
You're light worker already. You're a Buddha. No, it's not like that. I mean, if you, and it's so funny because on this spiritual area, like we have so many aristas, we have so many things that they're amazing. And there's also a lot of people that tend to, okay, I got here and everything's solved, everything's ready. I don't know what happened. Why I can't achieve what I want if I did everything? I'm perfect. And it's like, okay, if you're alive and if you are one of those that I don't understand why, bad things continue happening to me if I'm completely good and perfect. I already did everything. It's like, no, bro. No, girl. If you are alive, you will continually, daily peeling one and another layer, and you constantly will continually awaken it and awaken it and awaken it. And yes, psilocybin, it's one amazing tool, but I believe that what is most profound for me is that mushrooms or psilocybin or ayahuasca or whatever you name it, it's here to help you understand what you already capable of.
Exactly. So exactly. So it's really important, I think, I think it's important for people to understand what emotions are.
Exactly.
Emotions are literally just chemical residue from past experiences. So there might be something from your childhood that happened where you have guilt, you have shame, you have anger, you have resentment towards somebody, maybe towards yourself. What usually happens in that experience is people push down those feelings and emotions. They never allow themselves to actually feel them fully or process them in a healthy way. So as we continue suppressing these emotions, it manifests in very ugly ways. It manifests in illness. It manifests in disease. It manifests in a life where you're constantly dwelling on the past rather than creating a bright future. And what's beautiful about mushrooms is they actually allow you to feel your feelings fully. And that can be a very uncomfortable experience, especially if you're used to just numbing yourself. But ultimately, if you want to fully heal, you need to allow yourself to fully feel. So I think it's really important for people to just understand, hey, what emotions am I potentially holding on to that I'm not allowing myself to experience? Like, for example, for me, the last year and a half, there's so many different challenges and obstacles, like in all areas of life, like romance, friendships, business, like every type of challenge imaginable, I faced it in the last 12 or 18 months. And during that experience, I realized that I only realized this really in the last 3 or 4 months. I realized how much I was actually suppressing anger. There's so much anger I had, but I was just kind of pushing myself through to the next thing I had to get done and take care of. But during that process of constantly pushing down and suppressing, I was operating at a lower frequency, right? And as much as I want to embody joy and gratitude, the anger kept showing up. And it was stealing away my ability to really be present. So the last 3 or 4 months in my own journey, I've been really intentional about giving myself the time and space to fully feel those things and process them. And pretty much what you just said at the end, whether it's ayahuasca, mushrooms, Kambo, LSD, all of these different things.
Sound therapy, yoga, journaling,
I'm gonna focus on the plant medicine aspect though.
Okay.
Right? So whether it's ayahuasca, mushrooms, LSD, Kambo, DMT, all of these things, right? They're all beautiful tools and they are not magic pills.
They're not gonna do the work for you, exactly.
So one of the most beautiful things about these different teachers is that they actually remind you how much potential you have within yourself, how much divinity you already have and already possess. And sometimes throughout this human experience, we forget how powerful we are. And oftentimes it's these medicines that allow us to remember, oh, wow, life is so beautiful. I'm so grateful for this experience. I'm so grateful for that shit from the past that was so hard that I never thought I would be able to overcome, but I did. And you awaken this part of your soul that may have been asleep before. So you shouldn't need to do mushrooms or ayahuasca every month or every 2 months, right? I think about it like going to the dentist. You go to the dentist maybe once a year, twice a year, for a deep cleaning, a deep reset. And that is what I consider like going to do a heroic dose of mushrooms or ayahuasca. It's like, okay, I want a reset right now. I want to cleanse myself of some things that are no longer serving me, and I want to gain clarity on what I want to call into my life moving forward. Does that make sense?
Yes, and then comes the dental floss, which is the microdosing.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, we can get into it.
I mean, you have to use you better use your dental floss daily.
Imagine
Maybe
that.
not.
Well, imagine that. Imagine if you just went to the dentist. Imagine if you went to the dentist twice a year, but in between those 6-month gaps, like you didn't brush or floss once.
Exactly.
You're going to be filthy. You're going to be disgusting. You're going to be a mess, right? Okay. So that is why microdosing can be such a beautiful tool. It's like the brushing and flossing. Now, we microdose in my community 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. And the reason for that is because I never want anyone to be psychologically dependent on anything.
I want to touch that.
Yeah, topic. Mushrooms are 100% safe and non-addictive, but like anything, we can become psychologically dependent on something where it's like, okay, I need this thing if I want to feel focused, or I need that thing if I want to go to sleep, right? And my intention for my students and clients is like, listen, I want this medicine to be a very intentional tool for you to go deeper within yourself and to become a better version of yourself. But by no means do I ever want you to become dependent on it. And then the other reason why we don't take it 2 days in a row is because I don't want you to have to increase your dose. So we use 250 milligrams for our microdoses, which is 1/10 of like a dose that you would need if you wanted to like trip or have like visuals or go on a journey, right? So a microdose is what we call subperceptual. You're not going to be like seeing unicorns. You're not going to be dancing with fairies, okay? But you might experience just heightened senses. You might notice that the green of the grass or the green of the trees pops a little more. You might experience more gratitude for simply just being able to breathe and feel the oxygen penetrate every cell in your body. You just become a little more aware and a little more connected to the present moment.
Okay, I wanna get deeper into that topic about the dosage. I mean, it's something that, I mean, we have always someone that is forging the path for others. I believe that you are one of those forging the path for others in these terms, but you also have, on the other hand, a lot of researches. There's history around it. There's theory around it that like it came a long time ago. It started, I don't know, in the 50s when it started with.
Yeah, I mean, mushrooms have been used
with Ramdas, and was that in the 50s or in the 40s?
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly the year, but they got into our system, and they were doing a tremendous and super fast transformation. They were used in clinical psychiatry and psychologists, and they were used in health in general, but in clinics, in hospitals with real doctors. And suddenly, out of nowhere, out of nothing, they banned everything. They started removing all the researches. They started deleting everything. And that's something that you covered. And that you said is like, okay, the pharmaceutical industry, which is the government itself, by the way, they don't want these plants and all this knowledge to be accessible to everyone, because on the other hand, it will, that the other businesses with all the other drugs, will be,
of course,
it would stay in the past. But so in those terms, it's like we don't have too much research. And if I'm always, thirsty for knowledge. I want to know more. I'm always curious, and I want to investigate. I want to know. And it's like, for example, with these, it's like, who will tell me what is the best and perfect dosage? And I've heard that I don't know if this is a scientific study, what I'm gonna say, but I've heard in scientific podcasts that they said that you should practice or try the psilocybin a huge dose once in a lifetime, twice in a lifetime. But what if with 7 years or with 9 years that everything starts from scratch and we are a new being? What if in 1 year, you have the potential to become another completely different individual with more opportunities? And I mean, how do you measure that? And I know that you already said that you don't want to do it daily because you don't want the people to be dependent on that and on the medicine. And also, I believe that what you coach to your students is that, or to your patients, is to take the psilocybin till the moment that you don't even need it, but you either way can come back to it.
Yeah.
And either way, you will find tools to regulate your nervous system, to vibrate high, and you will also see yourself that even using all these tools, because you already told me, is the mind is so tricky that and the ego is always trying to cut us in this trap that we tend to even not numb ourselves, but distract ourselves from the things that we really have to pay attention to, with even good things and spiritual things. You could be practicing yoga twice or 3 times a day and avoiding doing the work. You could even take in microdosing and dreaming in rainbows and unicorns and not doing the work.
Yeah, of course.
And so, trying to find that middle path and to understand that is ultimately you and only you.
Yeah.
That will take you again to the correct road, to the correct path. And, I don't know, there's so many questions here, but you may elaborate.
I want to let everyone know who's watching and listening. There's a future version of you that's much cooler than the version of you right now.
Okay.
And the thing that's stopping most people from taking that next step is, like you mentioned, the ego. Mm-hmm. What is the ego? It could
be a good partner.
I equate the ego to fear. Okay. When I think they're interchangeable, right? The job of our ego is to essentially keep us safe. Our brain is designed to keep us safe, right? What does that mean? It means that it doesn't like change. It doesn't like when you're stepping into the unknown. It doesn't like when it sees that you are actually pursuing growth, right? Because that's unsafe. And this is why most people settle for a mediocre life, because they allow fear to steal away their potential. And the only way that you're actually going to recognize that potential is by taking action in leaning into the discomfort of the unknown. And that's where all of the magic happens. And what mushrooms help you do is they help remove that filter, right? They help you become aware of your fears. Oh, wow, I'm scared of quitting my job and pursuing my passions, but maybe I shouldn't be. Maybe this is actually what I need, because that job is miserable and it's stealing away my energy. I don't want to live my life like that. So many of my clients and students have literally, within 3 to 6 months, left their job and fully pursued their purpose, because they're no longer addicted to fear. We get addicted to these lower vibrations because it's what's comfortable. We're familiar. It's the same reason why so many people stay in toxic relationships. Why would you stay in a relationship that's abusive? Or why would you stay in a relationship that you know isn't aligned with your highest self? It's because it's safe. It's comfortable. You know what to expect. And that's where most people get held up. It's leaning into the unknown. Oh, wow, you know what? That isn't aligned. I deserve much better. I'm going to step into the unknown. And the unknown is the unknown. But the unknown is where all the magic happens, right? So as soon as we recalibrate our relationship with fear, that's a huge step of actually starting to pursue that next level for ourselves. I don't even know if that answers the question that you were asking.
I think you were covering a slightly different topic, because you told me about the microdosing that you give to your students
Yes.
3 times a day, and what about the, those powerful and
Yes.
full, I don't know, how do you measure the milligrams and the microdosing and on the full dosage? If
Yeah.
it's, for example, someone that is tiny, it's small. For example, because I say this, my sister. Let's put this into a specific experience. Okay, so I have my sister. My sister is pretty much like myself. She's smaller. She's thin, super thin. Her bones are tiny, and we are pretty much alike, similar. But she's like a tiny, smaller version of me.
Okay.
And so everything impacts on the hair incredibly deeper and greater than someone else. And for example, let's say she takes a drink, and with one drink she's already and she starts
That's how
saying,
I am, by the way.
starts telling me, oh my God, I'm drunk. I'm on drunk already. And I was like, I don't say that. And she's like sincerely drunk. And okay, let's say that we are gonna take, today is a beautiful day to take a microdose. To take a tiny, tiny microdose. Let's do it all in family. My mom, my sister, we're gonna do it. And we all measure what we think it's, because what I already said, okay, if you have a piece of chocolate and it's not something, I don't have a weight or a machine or something to measure exactly, but we use our positive discernment to understand what is the dosage that is gonna be small. And then we take these dose, and she end up feeling like she went on a huge full trip. And then she could come back home like, how you did that to me? Oh my God, that wasn't I can't be working and wanting to cry the whole day. It's not possible. It happened to her. And so it's like, how do you measure? That's my question.
I mean, it's very simple. The unfortunate thing is, there's just like anything, right? Just like there's shitty yoga teachers, right? Okay. There's trainers that are horrible. Like, I know when I was there's personal trainers that just try to kick your ass and like make you work hard, but your joints aren't prepared for it, so people get injured. Like,
let's say that they are not prepared, or maybe they are
exactly.
they are.
I mean, we are 250 milligrams are in capsules, and they're combined with lion's mane, cordyceps, and beetroot powder. So we have, for the first 2 weeks, we have people actually take half a capsule just to make sure that it's not like too strong for them. And a lot of times they won't even feel that. So then they'll take the full capsule, 250 milligrams. To be honest, 250 is like the sweet spot for a majority of people to feel some of the benefits without it being overwhelming. So 250 is a really great amount, even for someone potentially like very small and petite. I still take 250 milligrams.
Okay.
And it gives me a nice little boost. Like, if there's a day where I have a lot of stuff to get done, a lot of work, a lot of computer stuff, it's a great day for me to microdose. And I'll just be focused. I'll eliminate the unnecessary distractions, and I'll just take care of business. And that's really, again, moving on. So many people right now, especially in America, are taking drugs like Adderall and Ritalin to help them focus, which is complete bullshit. Like, ADHD is something that I think we're all dealing with to some extent, right? Now, there's natural ways to heal your ADHD through your nutrition, through healing your gut, because your gut produces most of your dopamine and serotonin, eliminating certain environmental toxins and like artificial food dyes and stuff. And microdosing can be really powerful. We've helped a lot of people get off of things like Adderall so they can actually stay focused without destroying their brain. And it's all about intention. Same thing with the chocolates. Everything is very measured out, but that's why it's important to have someone you trust help guide you, right? So many people, like, that's why we have a microdosing membership, right? And it's $222 a month. There's live calls every week with me and my head coach, a bunch of content. We provide the medicine, but it's like a full 360 experience. People who are coming in, they're first of all cultivating clarity with where they're at now, where they want to go in their life moving forward, their nutrition, right? Constantly reprogramming the subconscious and having accountability and support along the way.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times you feel certain feelings and emotions come to the surface and it's scary. You don't know what to do with it. And it's really important that you have someone to help support you with that integration process, right? And a lot of people, the last couple of years have asked, can I just get the medicine without like the coaching and support? I'm always like, no, because so many people try microdosing on their own and they don't get the results that they want. And a lot of times that's because there's a lack of support, lack of accountability. They're not doing the other important integration work. They're not doing anything to change their nutrition or change their lifestyle, right? And they might be taking low quality medicine. Just like anything, the quality matters.
Exactly.
So
I believe that answers me something, and that it also uncovers another question. So is that, okay, it is a lot of people asking you if they can take the medicine without the coaching. What about if they don't want the medicine, but they want the coaching? Because that's, you also offer that.
Yeah.
Like the coaching, because it's what we were saying, like no matter whatever substance you are taking to help you elevate your frequency, to help you remove blockages, if you are not with the proper guidance, if you don't have that proper guidance, if you don't call for that proper guidance, I don't know, from another dimension or someone, that is capable to guide you on that, you're not going to be doing anything. And that is, what is your thought? What are your thoughts on, right now, the people that are using and taking the medicine for granted and using the medicine to go on a party, mix it with alcohol, mix it with marijuana, mix it with you name it, but they are using it in a wrong way. In those scenarios, is the medicine impacting in a positive way? Is being a detriment, or is doing nothing? Like, where is it? How is it?
Yeah. So one of my biggest rules for taking mushrooms is to not mix it with alcohol.
Okay.
And
lovely.
I also recommend not mixing it with anything else, because you want to actually feel the medicine, right? And if you're smoking weed, you're drinking, you're doing all these other things, you don't actually allow the medicine to work its magic. So what I like to recommend is having the cleanest vessel possible. Like if you can be in a pretty much fasted state, or maybe you had some juice or like some light, high quality food, so you can actually let the medicine do its work. And we live in Miami. So obviously it's a city that's known for partying. So I much rather have someone go out and take some mushrooms than drinking and snorting lines of cocaine.
Okay.
And using mushrooms to enhance your party experience isn't the most intentional way to use them, especially if you're just getting started. However, with that being said, I work with a lot of high-level like entrepreneurs and executives. Some of them are in the finance industry. And if you know anything about that space, drinking is a big part of it. It's like client dinners, happy hours, right? It's almost a crime if you don't drink. So a lot of my clients come to me and they're like, listen, I drink like 3 or 4 times a week. I'm not getting drunk, but I'll have 2 or 3 drinks, but I see how it's affecting my health. I see it's impacting my energy, my focus, the level of motivation that I feel on a daily basis. And they want to improve that. And they also want to like be able to go out and be social. So I've had a couple of them take 1 gram of the chocolate, 1/4 of the chocolate as a replacement for alcohol. And pretty much every single one of them is like, holy shit, I feel so connected. I feel like my conversations are much more authentic, and I feel repulsed by alcohol. Like I can't even imagine drinking, because now that I'm feeling and experiencing this elevated vibration, I don't want to poison myself with alcohol. I don't want to poison myself with toxic food. And that's one of the beautiful things about the medicine, is that it's heightening your awareness. So now you're fully conscious of those things, those relationships, those habits that don't serve you. And sometimes we just need that reminder, you know? And again, you have all of these beautiful tools behind us: sound healing, yoga, meditation, breath work. They're all so beautiful. And I think mushrooms can actually help us return back to these things, right? Return back to your breath, return back to nature, return back to yourself. And that's really the download I get anytime I take mushrooms, is like, bro, you really have all of the answers inside of you. And my first shaman in Peru, he told me, "Eres la medicina." You are the medicine. And I was like, I don't understand much Spanish, but I understand that. So that's the message that I think I've received when I've worked with the medicine, is that I'm the medicine. And I get to be a vessel to just deliver the message of love, light, consciousness, authenticity, self-awareness. And the more people that can lean into that energy, the more as a collective we expand and we awaken.
Absolutely. And the more people thinking like you and, you know, investing their time, their energy into, you know, helping and being to the service of the world and others, I mean, a better world we'll live in, absolutely. And, you know, this podcast is called Move the Energy because we literally, and metaphorically speaking, we're going to be moving the energy. And I say metaphorically speaking because if, for example, would go into a sound therapy, we wouldn't be moving the body, but we're going to be transitioning to that pretty soon. And I would like to kind of close this powerful and inspiring conversation that I'm sure that it's giving you so many ideas and so many ideas into how to take action. I want him to tell us exactly where you can go if you want to start this journey with this powerful medicine, if you want to start having this guidance with coaching. But I want to also, because I asked you this in the first, what was the first question? But I'm sure that, I know that we are just jumping into one thing and another. We have so many ideas on our minds. And so, like I asked you why you started sharing this experience with psilocybin. How was you told us already that your first experience was in Peru. How was your experience? And it was just the same day that you took the medicine, you got the idea of starting sharing it this, like how you got into Peru. Like, give us a little bit of, memories and stories.
Yeah.
They are here for a reason, and we need to continue sharing our stories and using our voice.
Yeah. Well, I'm really excited for this. Like you said, when we're talking about energy and emotion is literally just energy in motion. So one of the best things anyone can do if they're feeling very emotional, tonight's a full moon, so the emotions are high. So if you're feeling like you're holding on to like anger, resentment, sadness, or whatever it might be, one of the best things you can do is move your body, whether that's dancing, whether that's yoga, whether it's going for a run, because emotion is energy in motion. So if you actually want to allow those emotions to move through your body and be processed, you have to move. You can't just be stagnant all the time. Going back to 2018, Peru, they say that you don't find ayahuasca. Like, you literally get a call and it's like, grandmother ayahuasca calling, hey, Jeremy, it's time to sit with me. And that's really how it was. Like, I was scheduled to actually do a yoga teacher training in Costa Rica. And then I remember it very vividly. I was at home in California visiting my parents, and I was going for a walk, and I just got a very clear download. Cancel your yoga teacher training, go to Peru and sit with ayahuasca. It was very clear.
Okay.
I had been researching it for 6 months or so. At the time, I was 27. I was a personal trainer. I was doing well, but I felt like there's so much more potential.
Something was missing, okay.
And I think a lot of people oftentimes get stuck in a box. Like, I was stuck in this box of being this really good personal trainer, right? And there might be someone listening who's the accountant or the lawyer or the mother, right? We all get put into these boxes, But the more that we conform to them, the more that we trap ourselves, and we trap the fact that we're actual multidimensional beings. So I knew I had so much more potential inside of me. And what ayahuasca showed me is that one of my greatest gifts is my voice, my ability to share and express and do so in an honest and authentic way. So after that first ayahuasca experience, pretty much immediately after, like, I started creating content, I started a podcast, like, I started to just become more confident sharing. And before that, so much of my identity was just like this personal trainer who has a six-pack, and so much of my identity and self-worth was attached to my physical body. So the medicine really showed me that that's beautiful, but it's just one piece of your pie. You have so much more to offer. And I think that's true for everyone. I think everyone listening and watching has unique gifts within themselves, and maybe they're not expressing them. And that's really one of the most beautiful ways you can live your life, is authentically sharing your gifts with others.
Then you went to Peru.
Yes.
Okay.
That's where the experience was, in Peru. Uh-huh. Yeah, and it was really, really.
So you went to the ayahuasca, and in that same trip, you did the mushrooms?
No. I found mushrooms like a little later.
Okay.
After. But the ayahuasca triggered me to like learn more about these other things.
Okay. And when you did your mushroom trip, you knew that in the instance that you wanted to share that with the world? Like, the first time I microdosed, I remember I was actually about to like lead a little session here in Miami. It was like right before COVID. Oh, so you did first a microdosing before
I had a couple macrodose experiences, but actually what was profound was this microdose experience. And my friend came to me before I was supposed to like lead this little workshop. He's like, bro, you seem like anxious. Are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I don't feel myself. He's like, take this. And he gave me like a little cap. And I took it. And I literally, when I was leading the class, I just felt so connected. And there was no overthinking. It was just pure channeling and being a vessel. And I was like, oh my God, that was such a small amount. And then I started to experiment. Again, I would like I would go on bike rides, or I would go to the beach. And I was just noticing myself feel more grateful, more present. And I was like, wow, I wonder how this could impact some of my clients. And at that point, I started to formulate some capsules, and I started to share it with some clients. And they were also reporting amazing benefits. And I was like, interesting, okay. So then I just started to share it more on social media. It started to like build momentum. And, it's been a long journey. It's been a long journey. So many highs, so many lows. I feel like we're in a very good place now. Okay. With the microdosing mastermind, because at first I was mostly working with like executives, entrepreneurs. It was $6,000 to be part of our program, but you had a lot of access to me and stuff like that. But about a year ago, I was like, I want to make the medicine more accessible for all the people who want to do this work, but they can't afford it. So I created this monthly membership. It's $222 a month. You can cancel anytime you want. Live coaching. We provide the medicine. We provide all the support, all the content, an amazing community of like-minded people. And you can cancel anytime. So there's literally like no risk, no long-term commitment. And we're at about 275 students right now.
Amazing.
And that's just, we're just going to keep growing that in a very mindful, conscious way. And I definitely want to provide you like a special link to share with your people. There is one more thing I wanted to talk about, because you're a mom.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I assume there's probably some moms and dads watching this. And what I've learned based on me being a child of my parents is that the biggest gift that my parents gave me during my childhood was their presence. My dad worked such crazy hours, but he was always intentional about finding different moments to be present with me. And same thing with my mom. And I look back at that experience with so much gratitude, because I know so many kids right now are growing up and they don't have that level of presence from their parents. And our community is like 75% parents, most of whom are moms. And one of the greatest things that they share with me is that, oh, wow, like this medicine and all of the other tools that you teach actually allow me to fill up my own cup. They allow me to provide for my kids from an overflowing cup. And a lot of times, you've probably experienced this as well, a lot of moms experience mom guilt.
Of course, if you're a mom,
you're probably experiencing it right now. You're like, it's Sunday, I'm recording this video, I should be back home. Now. But it's so common. And I know my mom experienced this a lot. It's like so many parents, especially moms, always want to pour into their children and be the best mom possible. And oftentimes that comes at the expense of their own health and healing.
Of course.
So this medicine has really been a beautiful tool to help a lot of the women in our community realize, oh, wow, like I deserve to make myself a priority so I can be the best version of myself for my kids.
And to not forget myself, like, yeah, exactly. Like I can't be for them. I can't be for my son, and you can't be for your kids, for your children, if you are not there for you first. So
everything, every single thing in this life is a direct reflection of the relationship with ourselves.
Yes.
So if we're neglecting ourselves, if we hate ourselves, if we have all of these unhealed emotional wounds and traumas, that's going to reflect and project out into every single other relationship in our life.
Yeah.
And it's going to prevent us from fully receiving all the blessings.
Yes, and that's a truth that can be very triggering, because your children, it's the result of your emotional well-being. So if your children is facing or having any, you name it, issue with whatever, discomfort, problem, trouble, it is because of something that you are not solving within yourself. So it's always you, and from there, you can really be an advocate for others. So yes, please, thank you so much for watching this. Thank you so much for trusting us. Thank you so much, Jeremy, for allowing us this opportunity. And please leave us your comments, follow along with us, find a mat if you want to move your body, and also, of course, like the video here, or if you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe if you're not subscribed. Give us your comments. Follow him also on his YouTube account. And if you are just watching on any audio platform, please give us, the return, and if you feel that we gave you something for your favor, something good for you, the best return you can do for us is to share this with someone else that might be benefiting, and so we can continue growing together, and so more people can be listening to this. So yes, if you are on a Spotify or an Apple Podcast, please rate the podcast.
5 stars.
Right? No matter.
Cinco estrellas. Come
no
on.
matter if it's 3, be honest. Simply share and share your experience, like the video, and give us your feedback. Thank you so much. My name is Jihan. This is Jitivoz. This is Moving Energy with Jitivoz, and here with Jeremy. Give us and tell us where we can find you, or maybe we just leave it here on the screen.
Yeah, in the description, we're gonna give you a special link and code for your people to if they want to try it, they can save some money and be part of the community. Instagram at jeremy.awakens. We have the Jeremy Awakens podcast, and I'm sure you'll link everything in the description. So it was a real pleasure to be here. And I feel like there's so many more layers we can go, and I'm excited to peel those back soon.
Of course. And you, of course, if you're curious, go ahead and try your session of psilocybin or microdosing, whatever you want. Even if you are not, if you're a stay-home mom, you need it to. You need it to. It's not only for entrepreneurs. It's not only for stars. It's not only for people that want to achieve a specific goal. If you don't have any goal, maybe you should start asking yourself why, and maybe try the medicine. Thank you so much. Hello, hello, back again. Now it's the moment. We got into the moment to move the energy. This is Move the Energy with Jitivoz, and here, Jihan with Jeremy. We are going to be sharing with you a unique yoga experience. So today is a full moon. And when it's a full moon, the energies are really all over the place. There is a lot going on, even if you don't move the body. So let's be gentle with ourselves. Follow along with us. If you don't have, we are gonna start going inside of the Tibetan ball to clear the energies, to clear any expectations, to clear and release any identifications that we might have around the practice, around ourselves, around this full moon, and to start from scratch, clear, clean, and to be able to really receive without any attachment or expectations. So if you don't have the Tibetan bowl, all you got to do is to sit comfortable in a meditative state and start getting the vibrations of these and start visualizing yourself. How do you want to feel at the end of the practice? You can start by thinking on setting an intention for today's practice, remembering that everything that we do with intention has the capacity and the power to transform ourselves and to give us greater, tremendous impact, better. Okay, so let's continue bringing consciousness and awareness with intention to the moves that we make in life, even if those movements don't come with real movement of your body. Just remember that we are sound, we are frequency, and even if you're just a still, you're going to be like still water, and it's constantly in motion. We are always and constantly in motion. So let's just sit here in Tadasana, mountain pose, hands by your sides. And we're going to take a deep, deep inhale into the nose. Taking a second sip of air, even if it's just a little, hold it at the top and hold it for as long as possible you can. And then sigh it out, everything through your mouth. Lovely. Let's take a deep, deep inhale into the nose and deep exhale into the nose. No stops, just completely, just like that. Let's do this like 5 rounds of this. And now simply continue breathing normal, regular. Maybe place one hand on your belly, one hand on your chest. If you have a particular intention for today's practice, for this full moon practice, full moon in Gemini, allow all the power of communication, of relationships, of encounters to be enhanced, enlightening, and clear if there is any blockages. And if you have any disruption, any issue with any relationship, this is your opportunity to, if you already did all that was in your hands, to solve that relationship with you, with someone else, whomever you have on your mind. Maybe it's a relationship with money, maybe it's a relationship with your career, any type of relationship in your mind. If you already did all that is on your hands to possibly find a solution or a way or a flourishment, and you still don't get it, this is your opportunity to release it and leave that to God so that God can take care of that relationship. Beautiful. And now let's go inside of the Tibetan bowl. Step on it. You just gotta, no, it's okay there. We should move. Should we move? Oh, it's okay. Okay, just a step in there. Okay, and again, try to get back into that same place you were before. Hands by your sides, maybe one hand on your chest, one hand on your belly, whatever that resonates with you right now. Closing your eyes. And I'm just gonna make sound the Tibetan bowl to help you clear any blockages that you might have. Okay, and if there is no blockages, what you will be allowing yourself is to tap into the highest timeline frequency available for yourself right now. Take a deep inhale into your nose. Take a second sip of air and try to hold it at the top. Hold it, hold it. Sigh it out completely. Release. 2 more like these. Inhale all the air into the nose. Take a second sip of air to hold it at the top. Feel the expansion. And sigh it out. 1 last like this. Inhale all the air. Second sip of air. Hold it, hold it, hold it. Feel the expansion and remember how your consciousness can be expanded and growth and clear in those retentions. And release, sigh it out. Lovely. And if you feel ready, you can step out of the bowl. Maybe you need to open your eyes. I'm here. Maybe I can give you a hand. If you might, sometimes people might feel dizzy out of the energy of the bowl. That's okay. Let's get down. Let's sit on our heels. Lovely. Okay, so let's begin the practice with how everything was created, with sound, without chanting an Om, single chant of Om. You're more than welcome to chant with me. Otherwise, if you prefer to just listen. But I would love to have you with me chanting, okay? So instead of exhaling, with the next exhalation, we chant, okay? So we inhale through the nose. Lovely. And now meet me in a child's pose, maybe knees wide apart, big toes together. You can start working your hips back towards your heels. And I'm going to be modifying you here and there, adjusting you. If for any reason you don't want manual adjustments, you can place one hand on your back. Otherwise, I might be manually assisting you, adjusting you to help you get into a deeper connection with the poses, with yourself, through the poses. Okay, taking deep inhales into the nose and even longer exhales. So then how with every exhale, your hips start connecting deeper with your heels. In a Balasana, you have the opportunity to connect really with your intention, to connect with your intuition, to go deep within yourself, to try to understand what is it that you want. Maybe your Balasana could be a place for questions, to start asking you the right questions and to release the need to have all the answers. Start by pushing your hands on the ground and slowly start lifting your upper body up, pushing your hands on the ground and letting the hips to be melt on the ground. So we meet in a King Cobra or maybe a Bhujangasana baby cobra. And we're going to enter in this drill 2 more times. Exhale, take it back in a child's pose. Extending your arms, keeping your elbows extended. Inhale, and again, you roll it over and forward. You melt the hips. You activate your spinal waves. Exhale, take it back again. We need one more just like this. Inhale, roll it over. Melt the hips. Maybe this time you open up your chest, your throat by looking up. Allow yourself to avoid sinking in your shoulders. Maybe your elbows, shoulders. Your elbows are close to your torso. Exhale. Last child's pose. And if at any point you want to go out from a pose, if at any point you want to come into your child's pose or stay longer in any pose, you're more than welcome to do it. Let's make kind of like a mix of restore, yin yoga, and sound healing. So let's stay for a bit longer in this shavasana while I'm gonna chant some mantras and use the master of the gong and the bowls. Sat Toma Sat Gamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Miritriarmam Tam Gamaya Shanti, Shanti, From ignorance, lead me to truth. From darkness, lead me to light. And from death, lead me to eternity. Om is the universal sound and first vibration on earth, and Shanti means peace. May these words and vibrations stay with you for as long as possible, and may they connect with everyone that connects with you. Now you can start slowly taking the time to incorporate yourself into an all-fours, into a tabletop position, hands underneath the shoulders, knees beneath the hips. Let's get ready for some cat-cows. Inhale to roll the shoulders up and back. Lift the tailbone looking up. Exhale, round and curl like an angry Halloween cat. Inhale, open up your throat, let the belly drop, looking up, pushing your hands on the ground, spreading your fingers. Exhale, chin to chest, navel in. Continue at your own pace, creating a rhythm connection between every breath and every movement, where you always want to inhale when the lungs can open up and fully expand, and you always want to exhale when you close and you purge out. Maybe as you inhale, you tuck your toes under, and maybe as you exhale, you press the tops of the feet on the ground. Lovely. And meet me in a neutral tabletop position and plant the hands on top of the blocks for support to be more gentle with our bodies. And let's make out of the needle flow with the hips. So pick up the right leg up, the right knee up, and just take 3 circles to the right, activating the right hip. Yes. Going slowly and gently and as open as possible, and then reverse direction. Big circles towards the other side. Beautiful. And stop at the center and bring that right foot outside of the right block. Maybe you lengthen maybe you move the length of the blocks into a higher one. And then you start melting the hips, bending that right knee, trying to keep that right knee and right thigh close to your torso. You could say here, maybe you plant the forearms on top of the blocks. Maybe if you're flexible and open enough and you prefer to go into a lower length of the blocks, maybe if you prefer to just don't use the blocks. So however you feel it, just stay in here and breathe into this supported lizard lunge. Working and activating the right hip, the right side of our bodies. Taking deep inhales and sending air and light and all the energies into the hip, into the right side of the body. Understanding that the right side of our bodies, it's our masculine energy impacting the left side of the brain. And it's the side of your brain and of your body that you really want to pamper when you're practicing yoga. And it's the one that is constantly giving, that is constantly taking action, and what you can do or say to be more gentle to that part of your body, to that side of your energy, of your brain. Remembering that no matter your gender, we all carry feminine and masculine energies. Take a deep inhale in here. Exhale, start moving the hips back, extending that right knee, maybe toes looking up. Feel the stretch in your right arm string. Maybe elevate your torso a little bit. Maybe you go with your fingertips on the blocks. Maybe you lengthen the blocks. However, that makes you feel more comfortable. Try to feel like someone is pulling towards the top of the crown. Take a deep inhale. Exhale, fold over the blocks. Inhale. Feeling the activation, the expansion, the extension on your right arm string, and continue elongating your spine. One more deep inhale. As you exhale, you again move forward, bending the right knee. And this time you want to tuck the left toes under, and you want to extend that left leg. It's an activated lizard lunge. And let's just make few maybe circles to the right, circles to the left, or simply moving forward and backwards. And these here is an opportunity. When you add mobility into the yoga poses, you're actually impacting your brain deeper. And it's an opportunity for neuroplasticity, longevity, for, yes, creating new channels, new pathways to create in life. Take a deep inhale, maybe take momentum steps or jump or whatever, but we were gonna meet in a Malasana yoga squat with the left foot outside of the left block. You could either grab the blocks and sustain yourself with the blocks in front of you, but you could also seat on top of the blocks. If you want a more restorative version of your Malasana, you could even, yes, you could seat on top of that. Yes, so we're gonna stay for a little bit longer, so make it as comfortable as possible. Maybe you bring your palms together, and how you're bringing those palms together, you feel how your elbows are kind of pushing your thighs away from you. You're activating your feet, you're activating your toes, and maybe you close your eyes. Take a deep inhale. And even longer exhale. Remembering that how our Malasana is helping us open up the hips and work on our hips, remembering that no matter your gender, no matter if you're a woman and you don't want to have children, we're constantly giving and receiving birth to ideas. Taking another deep inhale. Exhale. Stay there in your Malasana, maybe closing your eyes. And let's just chant another mantra. Let's chant the Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free to create the life that they deserve. If you have that mantra And if you know it, and maybe you chant it with me, maybe you just listen to it. Voka samasta sukhino bhavantu loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Take a deep inhale. As you exhale, maybe you plant the fingertips on the ground to elevate the hips and let the body down, fold in. Maybe you grab the blocks and you fold on top of the blocks. Maybe you just stay there and you grab your elbows. Maybe you soften the knees and you swing side to side, completely like a rag doll, taking deep inhales, activating your abdominal muscles to protect your sacrum, to protect your lower lumbar, to protect your discs, to continue being an advocate for yourself so that later you can really be an advocate for others. Taking a deep inhale and allow the hands on the ground. And inhale, lengthen your spine a little bit. Exhale, fold over the legs. 2 more. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Last one. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold, and start meeting me again into a tabletop position. So we finish and we make the same sequence but on the other side. Okay, so out of the needle flow on the left hip. Let's go there. Tabletop. Tabletop position. Left leg elevated. And 3 circles. Activating the left hip, remembering that the hips are the largest joint in our body, so they deserve more time, more presence, more energy. Reverse direction. Circles towards the other side. Okay. Big circles, slowly to really be able to get deeper into all the sensations, emotions that may arise. And then you stop at the center and you place that left foot outside of the left block. And then you start melting the hips, again, just like we did on the other side. Activated, supported lizard lunge. Maybe you move into your forearms on the blocks, maybe just to stay there. You want to close your eyes and simply breathe and stay in here, remembering that this is supposed to be a gentle, slow-paced class with a lot of permanences, and sometimes what will trigger your ego most, what will make you feel more uncomfortable, depending on the type of person you are, it would be to move slowly. So if you are the type of person that think that moving slowly it's boring, or that you are wasting time by simply sitting and not being completely active and productive, maybe you are the type of people that mostly need to slow it down and to take a permanence, take the best out of you, take the best out of the void, out of the silence. Inhale and slowly start moving the hips back as you extend now the left leg. And again, maybe it's time you move your toes looking up, elongating your spine and lengthening from the top of your crown. Fold over the blocks, stay there. Feel now the elongation, extension on your left arm string. Feeling how you're also extending your torso, helping yourself with the blocks. Feeling the difference from having the left foot dorsiflex and your toes activated rather than simply relaxed. Feeling the difference of being intentional or simply just being. Inhale. Exhale, moving forward again. And this time you activate the right foot, the right toes under, extending that right leg, and you step forward again in a Malasana Yogi squat. And we just stay here in this Malasana for 1 to 3 breaths. Maybe you keep your eyes closed. And if you have the block, if you're sitting on top of the block, I want you to remove the blocks for a few seconds. Just remove the blocks. Okay, and I want you to trust on simply laying fully on your backs and going down in a happy baby pose. Grabbing your big toes, yes. You're in your happy baby pose, allowing yourself to release any tension, allowing yourself to care for your inner child. Remembering that a happy baby pose is a really, really powerful pose to help you take care of your inner child. So maybe your happy baby pose is a still one. Maybe your happy baby pose is a swinging one. Maybe it's a playful one, the one that strata goes into a straddle. Whatever happy baby you have, it is a happy, happy one. It is a one that is taken care for and that is bring up into the surface. Maybe this is an opportunity also to start asking your inner child, what was that your child loved to do? What was that your child loved? And if you are not doing that, try to start creating actions to bring opportunities for that into your inner child. And then slowly release and just release and let the legs on the ground. Maybe you can extend the legs and you can let the heels on top of the block for more comfort. And now you're entering in your Shavasana. And I'm going to give you a few drops if you want of this peppermint essential oil. And you can simply rub your palms and smell it, but you could also rub your neck if you wish. And remember that our smell is directly linked with our limbic system, which is the one in charge of our emotions. Meaning that while you smell the essential oil, you are not only being able to focus deeper on your relaxation and focus more on whatever you're doing, but you're also being able to tap deeper into your mind, into your subconscious. This is a great moment for autosuggestion. If you want to repeat any affirmations inside of your mind, or if you prefer to simply surrender into the void, that's amazing. But just for those of you that are finding it difficult to meditate or to relax, just remember that you don't need to put your mind in blank. All you need to do is to really become an observer of your journey, of your story, or of this moment. Allow the thoughts that come and go, but release any attachment to them. You can either repeat it with me out loud, or you can repeat it in your mind. But let's just make this meditation or this Shavasana a bit more active one with a simple and an easy affirmation or mantra, which is, I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. And if you want to repeat it with me, just repeat it with me. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. I am who I am, and that is enough. And you can continue repeating that in your mind if you wish. And you can continue repeating these daily in front of the mirror while driving, while meditating in your mind. Write down that affirmation until you start vibrating with who you truly are, until you start experiencing life as you really deserve it. Bargove vasyadimahi Yoyona prachodaya Bhurvubhuva swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi Dhiyo yona prachodaya Bhurvubhuva swaha Tatsaviturvarenyam Bhargo devasya dhimahi Dhiyo yona prachodaya. The Gayatri Mantra, one of the most powerful mantras, and one of the multiple meanings of it is that we meditate on the effulgent glory of the divine light. May this light inspire our understanding, our intelligence, and it may be ignited from within. You can now slowly start bringing your knees into your chest to kind of like hug your knees or whatever. If you need a little bit more time to stay in here. Actually, if you prefer to stay a bit longer in your Shavasana, you're more than welcome to do it. But you're also welcome to start bringing more movement right now. Maybe hugging your knees into your chest. Allow yourself to take all the time that you need to stay and to integrate and to close in here. remembering that the gong is a master, all the instruments are powerful tools, but none of them is compared to the power of your own voice. So allow this meditation to guide you to start igniting and utilizing your voice, and to taking actions to manifest the life that you need, that you want, that you deserve. And you not necessarily need to involve your voice into those creations, but to remember that your voice carries a profound power of creation. So be aware of that and be intentional when using your words, when expressing your ideas to someone else. And if you continue vibrating into the I am who I am and that is enough affirmation mantra, you will continue to align yourself with your highest vibrational frequency or possibility. Thank you so much for sharing this moment, this opportunity with us. And if you follow along with us, and if you're sitting, maybe you can bring your palms together in front of your chest. And now bring both palms together in front of your forehead, so our thoughts will always be positive. Now palms in front of your mouth, so our words will always be spoken with love. And now palms again in front of your chest, so we may cultivate a sincere heart. Namaste. And thank you for sharing your energy with us today, for co-creating this meditation with us. Thank you, Jeremy, for giving us this opportunity. And thank you for being here. Thank you. This was Move the Energy with Jitivoz, and hope to see you in another one. I'm gonna give Jeremy the time to settle. Thank you.
Move the Energy with Jitivoz.